Hello, everybody. My name is Ana Luisa Oaxaca, and today I'm going to talk about Mexican independence consequences. The Mexican independence was an armed conflict whose culmination was the national autonomy. The consequences of the country's struggle has effects on political, social, and economic issues. The first one was class submission. At the beginning of the colonial age, the new Spanish society was organized on a class system. This one isolated people for assigning them status based on their ethnical group. Their status defined their activities. Only people who was born in Europe could practice political and public activities. Creole and European people born in America could get lands but not practice public activities. After the struggle, the education and military experience were the way to get a political charge. And the second one was the recession. Mexican nation turned out impoverished because its main economic activities like agriculture or mining were kept up by their labor for fighting. Besides, when Spanish left the country, take our sources of wealth like food, gold, or silver with them. Other one is political crisis. At the end of the struggle, Mexico had not established any plan. Therefore, our country had more than 50 governors during 30 years after the war. And the last one was the Mexican Empire. During independence dissolution, it established Mexico as a constitutional monarchy. It means while a monarch takes care of executive branch, the Congress takes care of the legislative branch. And our country was divided between two monarchies. The first one, people who support Agustin de Iturbide, and the second one, people who preferred the USA government way. And that's it about Mexican independence consequences. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Griselda, and I will be talking about Mexican Independence Day facts. Between 1800 and 1810, started the first conspirators meeting against the viceroyalty. In 1809, La Conjura de Valladolid was discovered and conspirators were imprisoned. In 1810, Querétaro conspirators decided to take up arms, and on September 16, Guanajuato's indigenous inhabitants were called by Hidalgo priests. An independence movement started with the Grito de Dolores. Since 1810, independence movement had different leaders because they were imprisoners or killers. In 1812, José María Morelos y Pavón was in power of the Independent Army and formed the Congreso de Anáhuac o Congreso de Chilpancingo, where read Los Sentimientos de la Nación, a document that contained the importance of human rights and freedom. In 1814, Congress was signed the Constitución de Patzingán. In 1821, Agustín de Iturbide and Vicente Guerrero proclaimed the Plan de Iguala, who guaranteed all the insurgent factions. Mexican independence was consumed on September 27, 1821.
Hi everybody, my name is Jessica Baños. I'm an advanced English student at Zipzimpango, and in this video I'm going to talk about the heroes of the independence of Mexico. The independence was a moment important in the Mexico's history. During the independence, men and women fought for their ideals. The main characters in the independence were Miguel Hidalgo. On 16 September 1810, he launched the famous Grito de Dolores, encouraging the people to take up arms and fight the Spanish. The priest Hidalgo led a patriotic army during the first of the independence, but he was defeated in battle of Puente de Calderón. Months later, he was shot to death in Chihuahua on July 13, 1811. José María Morelos y Pavón. In 1810, he joined the army formed by Miguel Hidalgo, and he was sent to South Mexico to gain territories. After Miguel Hidalgo's death, he had gained almost all middle and south of Mexico. He organized the Anahuac Congress and wrote the Apatzingán Constitution. Vicente Guerrero. After Morelos' death, he was the general of the insurgent army. He signed with Agustín de Iturbide the Proclamation of Independence and joined the Plan de Iguala. He helped to form the republic opposing to Iturbide monarchy. Francisco Javier Mina. He joined the liberalists in Spain that supported the Cádiz Constitution. After this, he went to Mexico to help the insurgents in many battles for fight for Mexico's independence. He was captured and killed in Guanajuato in 1817. Nicolás Bravo. Insurgent that was one of the man Morelos trusted more. He fought in many important battles and joined the Plan de Iguala. He was the first vice-president of Mexico. Juan Aldama. He first tried to stop Miguel Hidalgo from starting the war, but once the war started, he joined the insurgents and fought in some battles, like in Monte de las Cruces. After this, he went to USA for military equipment, but he was captured and shot to death of his way in 1811. Ignacio Allende Unzaga. He was part of the insurgents since the start of the war. He commanded the battle for the Alhóndiga de Granaditas. He proposed to take the capital, but Hidalgo refused, and after the defeat of the insurgents in Puente de Calderón, Allende took the place of Hidalgo, but he was captured and shot to the death in 1811. Mariano Matamoros. He was priest that was pursued by the realistic because he supported the insurgents. After escaping, he joined the realists. He was a great military general. He won many battles and took the cities of Cuautla, Oaxaca, and Tonalá. He was captured and shot to death in 1814. Guadalupe Victoria. He joined the insurgents in the second stage of the independence when Morelos was in charge of the army. He fought in the many important battles, principally in Veracruz. After the end of the independence war, he became the first president of Mexico in 1824. Leona Vicario. She informed the insurgents every important movement terroristic made and helped with their capital, the insurgent army. She married Andrés Quintana Roo. He married Leona Vicario and both helped the insurgent army. He entered to the Chilpancingo Congress and he the author of the Apatzingán Constitution. Agustín de Iturbide. He formed the Ejército Trigarante and proclaimed the Plan de Iguala, with making possible the independence of Mexico from Spain. He was the Emperor of Mexico, but after some months he was no longer the Emperor of Mexico, Manuel Mier y Terán. He held important battles in Puebla and Veracruz, and conducted expeditions in Coatzacoalcos and gathered important weapons. He was present in Chilpancingo Congress. He also joined the Plan de Iguala after the end of the independence, where he played important political roles in Mexico. Francisco Primo Verdad. After France took control of Spain, he proposed to the Virrey of New Spain to form an independent provisional government, but his ideas were immediately opposed by realists, and he was taken to jail and killed before the independence war started. Josefa Ortiz de Domínguez. She was married to the mayor of the city of Querétaro, so she informed all the insurgents of the movements of the realistic army, and when she was informed that the realistic army knew they were making a conspiracy, she informed Miguel Hidalgo in order to start the independence war. They were the heroes who achieved an independence. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure share with you this video.
Hi, everybody. My name is Jimena Perez. I'm a high advanced English student at Zumpango. Today I'm going to speak about political and economic change after Mexican independence. The history of the independence of Mexico in 1810 and 1821 is full for fierce struggles for ideals such as freedom, justice, and equality. Well, the Mexican independence started because the mixed classes or criollos don't have the same opportunities that high classes. I mean, they don't have the same rights. Well, speaking about economy scope, well, Mexico was mirroring crisis. The war had reduced the labor force for economic sustenance. Such a lack of manpower influenced the decline in food products. How you know, when a country starts a war, intern war, a lot of men don't work in farms. So how you can say in graphic, the economy was scope in 1790 at here more or less in 1893 and increase the next years. So the number of bodies on the battlefields and the overcrowding into trenches led to infection diseases that further plunged the people into misery. So a lot of people after to independence get a lot of infection diseases because you can look the murder bodies in different places. Mexico was a big problem on unhealthy, on insanity, insanity. Mexico was independent of Spain, but not of the church or the wealthy classes or high classes. So here, Agustín Iturbide was an important character because he was the first people who get the power in Mexico, and he tried to raise the economy with mercantile strategies, but these strategies failed. So he had to resort to drastic means such as the reduction of taxes on inventors and the action of church privileges. The church get a lot of properties, a lot of areas, and a lot of people lost or don't have places where they can live. He was the one who possessed the most assets and privileges thanks to the favor of the Catholic kings of Spain. So, the above causes the discontent of the church and the upper social classes, who had supported independence with the idea to governing the country themselves. The church and the upper social classes or high classes was really discontent with Iturbide, and they want to get the power in Mexico. The new country was the country was on the brink of misery and turned to the English for a loan that only helped for a short period and that failed to inject the expected boom into money. Mexico get a debt, a big debt with other country when a country start a war needs money. So Mexico get a big debt, and this debt during for a long period of years. Well, Mexico was not ready to leave the rebels, and the following years were full of uprising and struggle for power, which, no, sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm going to speak about political situations that was relationship with economic. Well, the years 1821 to 1851, the country had between more than 20 rulers. Mexico was a new country mirroring poverty and without diplomatic relations. So, he saw his early years led by Agustin Iturbide, who, despite having openly supported the independence after the plot and achieved in his appointment as imperial. So Agustin Iturbide get the power and changed Mexico as imperial. So the change for a country to empire didn't last long because Antonio López de Santana, Veracruz caudillo, upon learning to interpret true objectives, and he took up arms and managed to come to power only 10 months after being supported by Vicente Guerrero and Nicolás Bravo. So when Antonio López de Santana knew the true objectives to intervene, he took up arms. So here, Mexico was not ready to lead the rebels, and the following years were full of uprising and struggle for power, which ended up differentiating into two groups. So, after to intervene to Imperial of Intervene, Mexico again faced a problem of two different ideologies. These two groups. The first group was the Royalists, were supported by the United States of America and had the following objective. The objective was make radical change in the social struggle through a democratic and representative republic for all social classes, because the social classes was in this time was really important. If you are a person in high classes, you have a lot of opportunities, rights to get a good lifestyle. The other objective established three powers: executive, legislative, and judicial. Allow freedom of belief, individual liberties, separate the church from the state, and size its assets. Well, the church have a lot of power in Mexico, in politics, and have a lot of properties, a lot of areas. Let army increase be used, you get fairly, that education was available to everyone. It was another good point because education only, the people that can get education only was high classes upon classes. So the other group was the conservatives, were supported by the privileged classes and the army, Spain and France. Their objectives were continue the privilege of the rich, institute a centralist monarchy with states as departments, allowing clearly privilege and not allowing free choice of religion. That the church provide education to eliminate liberal ideas at their roots, and education available only to the rich. So the conservatives want to conserve the same ideas before to independence. They don't want change the country. So the battles between the two factions, once again, of these two groups, plunged the country into disarray, and many of the Central American provinces separate, and the Congress appointed a triumvirate in which power would fall while a National Assembly was convened. So, in addition, in 1824, a fundamental constitution of 36 articles was published, which established that the country would be governed representatively and popularly as a federalist republic. States were given power and sovereignty so that even though they were part of the country, they have their own government and laws. This was the basis of the current federal governance of the country. Mexico was registered for this constitution. Well, the constitution actual these days is constitution in 1927. Well, the first president under these premises was Guadalupe Victoria, who was received by the people with the hope that he would bring the true change of independence. So Mexico faced a different change ideology, a really hard economic scope, and well, a different president tried to get a equal country. The people get a equal or same rights, same opportunities to get a good lifestyle. So that's all for today. Thanks for watching and see you later.
Hello everybody, my name is Maurice Delgado Alcalá. I'm a Sipsium Pango student. I'm a advanced English level student. I'm going to talk about the typical food at the Independence Day. Well, as you know, Mexico has a lot of flavors and stews. In this presentation, I'm going to share you many stews that is typical to eating at the Independence Day and all September. The first one is pozole. This is, I think, the most famous food on September. Pozole is corn in chicken broth with other spicery like lettuce or chili or oregano. This stew is eaten hot because it makes the corn flavor and the chicken broth hot, and it results a great dish with a chance to add the ingredients. Pozole is, I think, one of the most representative stews in Mexico. It's prepared on special days and many times on birthdays. It can be eaten with tostadas. The second one, tostadas. This this is a taste plate that is preparing with corn tostadas. You can add cream or cheese or on the tostadas, but that is like issues. This plate is a chance to mix a lot of stews, like tinga, that is chicken with onion in tomato sauce, or other stews. The most famous are the tinga tostadas and pata tostadas or picadillo tostadas. The tostadas are like tortilla, corn tortilla, but you let it dry on the sun. The tostadas can be eaten with your favorite stew, or just with special ingredients like cream, cheese, avocado, beans, etc. This next one, tamales. The tamales are a great opportunity to show a lot of flavors because it is used as a stew or just a flavor involved in corn mush that is involved in corn leaves or in banana leaves. It can be like sweet tamales, stew tamales, or salty tamales, meat tamales, etc. The flavor is amazing because this dish is preparing with steam and that gives them a unique taste. These plates, I think, together the tacos are the most representative flavors in Mexico, but it doesn't has much science. It is just about wrapping a specific flavor or stew. It can be sweet or salty or spicy, and is wrapping on banana leaves or corn leaves. The next one, and the last one, cochinita pibil. This is a so taste stew because it is a pork meat and it has a lot of spicy, but the spicy bring it a special flavor. But the meat conserve its juice. I mean the liquid that the meat loses. And if it's accompanied with hot tortillas and a wet spicy sauce and a good drink, is so good. This plate is no very known for the world on the world, but it showed it. It's a really taste flavor and it really taste stew. If you have the chance to taste it, do it, please. For the final, my opinion. I think each country has their own flavors and each region has their own ingredients, but I think the Mexican food has a special point. I don't know. I think we have all of the types of foods and soaps and drinks until stews and desserts. We have spicy food and sweet food. We have very prepared food and we have food with only an ingredient or two. Well, thanks to watching. I hope if you have the chance to taste a Mexican flavor, a Mexican stew, do it please. And if you have a recommendation for me for a stew, give me please. See you and thanks for watching.